So, yeah, massive explosion there, several senators and civilians dead, and Superman just stands there, looking more disappointed than anything. Want to deal with that fire, Soups? See if anyone needs any help in the area? Yeah, in a little bit we see him carrying injured people, but this moment of him standing in the fire, looking like he just learned that his favorite sandwich place closed, it's bad and should not have been in either version of this movie. Like, if he's just in shock, at least make him look horrified or something. Not like he wants to take a shower, but realizes he's out of soap, for crying out loud. Oh, and Bruce gets a newspaper article about what happened 2 years ago with the words, "You let your family die," written on them. That's really suspicious. On top of how weird it is that he has an expensive high-tech wheelchair despite rejecting all the checks I sent to him. I wonder if this warrants further investigation. I'm sure it'll work itself out. Superman flies off after looking around at all the dead and injured, while later, Batman breaks into LexCorp and takes the kryptonite. After a heartfelt scene between Lois and Supes about him feeling disconnected from Earth and what Jonathan Kent wanted for him, Lex enters the remains of the Kryptonian ship. Oh yeah, remember that from like an hour ago? He accesses the computer, wanting to learn about other worlds. Meanwhile, Bruce is preparing for his battle with Superman by doing CrossFit. Yeah, that'll bring you up to par with the dude who dragged a giant boat and survived a bomb at close range.
You guys do CrossFit?
You can cross fuck off.
Cross part.
He does fashion the kryptonite into a spear and prepare some other weapons like kryptonite gas and the like, but afterwards he decides to check out some more of the files he took from Luthor. In particular, one labeled Metahuman. He checks them out, and it reveals that the mysterious woman is, in fact, Wonder Woman, her face matching a photo from World War I. More on that in a bit. Meanwhile, Lex has taken the body of Zod and places it into a Genesis pod where, oh hey look, Lex is walking around in his own piss. Man, no wonder he had so much to spare. He also mixes his own blood in because, I don't know, he's a narcissist? How the hell is this supposed to help whatever it is he's doing?
You flew too close to the sun.
Are you crazy? Is that your problem?
While Clark heads north into the Arctic, Lois investigates the bomber's apartment and sees that he had just bought groceries, implying that he didn't have any intention to die. She further discovers the wheelchair was made of the same metal as the bullet, but the interior was lined with lead so that Superman couldn't see it coming. In the mountains, Clark has a vision of his father, who describes a time at the farm when it was flooding. Jonathan Kent and his own father worked tirelessly to redirect the water and succeeded in saving their farm, but ended up inadvertently flooding a neighboring one.
The lesson is, never try.
Yeah, a story that does fit in with this craptastic version of Jonathan Kent. He said he had nightmares about the neighboring farm's horses drowning, but they eventually stopped when he met Martha, giving him hope for the world.
I miss you, son.
My boat.
We get a good scene with Bruce afterwards, his quiet realization that he's older now than his father was when he died, and that his legacy has to be saving the world from Superman, that the one-man war on crime ultimately was pointless when it just keeps coming back. It's good stuff, it's character stuff, more of this and less pea jars. Martha Kent gets kidnapped, and Batman arrives in Metropolis in his spiffy Dark Knight Returns-inspired armor. He turns on the bat signal, Supes having earlier warned him not to show up when the signal was lit. Lois is soon kidnapped by the mercenary as well, and brought to LexCorp. Lex knows she's got evidence about the metal, but isn't worried, doing his weirdo manic shtick before shoving Lois off the roof to get Superman's attention. He naturally catches her and flies back up to confront him, where he continues to ramble about God and how he's a fraud for not being all powerful. I don't know, Lex just talks. That's all he does! He just talks and 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 won't shut the hell up! Like, the closest we get to an actual motivation for him is being mad that God never intervened to stop his father from abusing him. He keeps talking about gods and good and evil, but he doesn't say anything. It's just talk. It's rambling while he's coked out of his mind or something. And while the Gene Hackman Luthor's stupid real estate schemes made no sense, at least I got what his deal was. He wanted to be rich and powerful. This Lex doesn't even have the excuse of jealousy over Superman's accomplishments. He just keeps bringing up Greek gods and humanity's worship of false gods and blah. Look, point is, he tells Superman that he has his mother as a hostage, go and kill Batman, and she goes free. That's it. That's all he wants him to do. Okay, let's just break down Lex's master plan here. For 2 years, he has been intercepting checks intended for this amputee who used to work for Bruce Wayne, feeding his resentment after having already lost his legs and his family having left him. He instead sends the checks back to Bruce with stupid statements about how he, I don't know, blames Bruce for this? I think the messages are not really clear. Bruce, after 20 years of fighting crime, is disillusioned with this fight, not that Lex would know that, and starts branding criminals for no real reason. Despite Batman apparently being a mainstay just across the bay for 20 years, Clark only now notices, hey, this Batman fellow is causing a bit of a stir. Lex amplifies this by making all the people branded with the Bat logo get murdered in prison, fueling Clark's anger at Batman for seemingly trying to get people killed. Bruce, despite already being mad at Superman because of the tower collapse and knowing full well the dangers of Superman, apparently needs a final push over the edge by blowing up Congress. But of course, to get Superman to even show up to Congress, he has a team of mercenaries team up with a warlord that Lois wants to interview, then tries to frame Superman for the murder of the troops using special bullets that only he makes instead of just using regular goddamn ammunition. After Lex blows up Congress, Bruce steals the kryptonite from him. Whether he wanted the kryptonite stolen is not exactly clear, since he seems genuinely shocked and horrified by that, but if he didn't want it stolen, then I'm not sure what exactly he expected Batman to do to kill Superman. And of course, he needed to kidnap both Lois and Martha Kent to force Superman to even take action. Would have really sucked for this master plan if Lois had died to the warlord of the mercenaries, or if Martha Kent had had a heart attack or something during the kidnapping attempt. And then, if Superman succeeds in killing Batman, then he's got a backup plan brewing in the Kryptonian ship that, as far as I know, he didn't even know he could do until like yesterday or whatever the timescale in this movie is. But yes, all of this was his master plan 2 years in the making. You know, Lex, I'm not a super special genius like you with rambly speeches about gods prepared, but here's a dumb idea. Why not just make some goddamn kryptonite bullets and shoot him? There's massive weird activity around the Kryptonian ship, and Diana Prince, Wonder Woman, is deciding to get the hell out of there. But she gets an email from Bruce containing the files on metahumans that he took from Luthor, aka teasers for the cinematic universe. Cyborg, The Flash, and Aquaman. Okay, I'm actually gonna break from a lot of my colleagues about this scene. I think it's fine. It's a short tease of other characters and movies. It's not obtrusive. It gets across a point that there's a larger world out there that Batman and Wonder Woman need to start thinking about. Although if I have to criticize anything about it, Luthor designed little logos for them? Was he gonna sell merchandise? The hell am I saying? Of course he was. Mind you, it probably works better in the theatrical cut than here, where we've had no frickin' end of padding! Seriously, all the stuff with Perry White? Pointless! It doesn't factor into anything later. Lois's subplot? Pointless. We already knew Lex was behind it all. At best, it's just evidence against him at trial. And they probably don't even need that much because you've got multiple people as witnesses to his bullcrap. Plus, the files Bruce stole that would put him away for life. Superman's pondering about whether he's a force for good or evil? Yeah, I'd actually say that's mostly pointless because it doesn't actually factor into the last hour of the movie. He's not fighting Bruce to prove he's not evil or that he does more good than harm. He's doing it because his mom is in danger. There is no deeper thematic part to any of Superman's stuff in this. He's just sad sometimes and keeps flip-flopping about how he feels about himself. Bruce at least has a character arc. It's not a great arc, but it's an arc. And oh yeah, the nightmare sequence. Pointless! I'm sorry, I really am. I know some people disagree, love this film, and extol its virtues, and that the extended cut is even better than the theatrical and fills in the plot holes caused by executive meddling, but I just don't see it. Keep loving this film. You can roll your eyes and say that all that stuff I just said was pointless isn't pointless. That this is a masterpiece, and I just don't get it. Because I don't! All I see is a slow, boring, frustrating, overcomplicated slog that I have spent far more time talking and thinking about than I ever wish I did! So Gotham's apparently having a torrential rainstorm in Metropolis, just across the bay. is perfectly clear as Lois tries to get over by helicopter to help Soups as he goes to try to talk with Batman. So, 2 hours and 3 minutes into this godforsaken movie, we finally get to the fight. The fight that I am not invested in because I don't care about either character, and mostly exists to homage a comic that Zack Snyder likes. Ironically, I'm not going to be providing a play-by-play of this, even though it's the point of the damn movie. I suppose I could critique that Superman isn't just keeping his distance and trying to talk without escalating things, but the truth is, he's panicked about his mom, and getting all this crap thrown at him isn't helping his mental state. Mind you, Bruce might be a little more receptive if you didn't keep chucking him around. The fight itself is fine. I honestly think it's well shot and dramatic, and it's got debris. I love me some debris in fight scenes. First Matrix movie, lobby fight, debris everywhere. Matrix sequels, considerably less debris. Worse movies. Coincidence? Maybe. Think about it. He brings the spear over to Soups and prepares to kill him.
You were never a god. You were never even a man.
Some kind of hamster, maybe, I don't know. Look, I was standing out in the rain for like 3 hours waiting for you. I'm not all here right now. And thus we come to the line, the legend.
My boat.
Now, of course, it's
Find him. Save Martha.
Yep. 5 years later, Ultimate Edition, and I'm still wincing. We even get a flashback to remind us of all this stuff because it's been 2 hours and the audience likely forgot.
Why did you say that name?
Yeah! That's a good question! Because who the hell talks like that? You're dying, in immense pain, confused, disoriented, about to be murdered by someone who won't see reason, and your mom is in danger. Why would you say her name instead of, I don't know, save my mother, or save her, please save her? Why'd you add on find him as well? That implies it's a guy named Martha. And look, I know some people are already writing it up, and you don't have to. You don't need to keep telling me the reason why this scene exists. I know why. I get that. It's Batman seeing Superman as a living person and not a monster, and all that. The problem is entirely the way it's executed, and it would have been so easy to fix. Save her, please save her. Save who? My mother, Martha Kent. Then you can have your, oh my god, his mom's name is the same as my mom. It's still an odd, goofy reference to get them to reconcile, but at least it sounds like something people would say to each other. And I have to keep reminding people who do like this movie, clearly it wasn't a problem for you, and that's okay. I'm just trying to explain why, for people like me, this scene comes across not as a revelatory moment where Batman suddenly realizes, oh my god, I was wrong, but a farcical, tone-deaf moment worthy of ridicule. It's like the dialogue in Birdemic. I know what they're trying to say, but it doesn't matter because the way it's written and the way it's delivered doesn't sound like something people would say to each other. You might as well have just told him, stand back, I have bird flu virus. That's how random it comes across to just say his mother's first name like that. But whatever. Lois arrives and explains that it's his mother's name, and he has his revelation. Oh boy, this is awkward. It's a tie! He tosses away the spear and promises Clark that he'll save his mother, while Soups goes to the Kryptonian ship to find out what Lex is up to. Lois sticks around to dispose of the spear. I mean, what else is she gonna do at this point? And best to at least get it in some water to diffuse the radiation. Alfred was listening in and traced the mercenary's phone. This leads to another action scene. I've had quite the epiphany. From now on, no more killing people. Starting tomorrow! Ha! Cargo boom! This action scene's a lot more chaotic than the one-on-one. It's overall fine, though I know a lot of people swear by it. He succeeds in rescuing Martha Kent, even throwing in another Dark Knight Returns reference in the process, and the mercenary gets toasty. Soups, in the meanwhile, reaches Lex, and Lex learns the bad news about his plan.
I don't hate the sinner. I hate the sin.
The
It's totally inapplicable to anything that's going on here. And it's dumb.
And thus Lex unleashes his little science project, an ancient Kryptonian deformity that needed his blood or something, aka Doomsday. You know, at some point I should really just review the death of Superman, because wow, they just decided to cram it all in the last sixth of this movie. Batman heads off to try to help fight, as does Diana. The military fails to do anything to Doomsday, who apparently in this has the power to create weird electrical sparks everywhere. Supes flies Doomsday into space, and the military decides to launch a nuke at them since they're clear of any potential civilian casualties. Jumping the gun a bit, aren't you? This thing's taken down all of a couple helicopters. Just feels like the response is a bit out of proportion. But hey, if they didn't do that, we couldn't slip in another Dark Knight Returns reference with Superman getting nuked. I mean, we're already in the middle of homaging another storyline with Doomsday thrown in here, so why not? It's the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup of adaptations. Oh, yeah, and of course it doesn't stop Doomsday, who just comes back down and starts mutating to resemble his comic counterpart. Batman realizes that Doomsday is Kryptonian, and thus the spear might kill it. So he leads it back towards the spear, while the emaciated Superman recovers thanks to sunlight. Now I'm radioactive! That feels pretty good! Doomsday shoots Batman down with his heat vision, and I just don't care. The movie is so boring to me. I don't care about Batman. I don't care about Doomsday. I don't care about anything that's happening here, and I just... Jesus criminy! Okay, movie, you got me! I'm suddenly invested! Yeah, it's kind of amazing. I have no particular strong feelings about Wonder Woman appearing, but rather it's the music shift. The music in this has been so dull. Barely plotting, no leitmotifs, or at least if there are, they're so subdued that I can't even hear them. But then Wonder Woman's theme music starts up and it's high energy, it's unique, it's just cool, and all of a sudden I care about what's going on. It's incredible how just having a tune will suddenly make me care about what's happening 1,000 times more than before. So yeah, Wendy's here, Supes returns, we've got the Trinity now. Truly, justice has dawned. Okay, I'm just here for the ride at this point. As part of the criticism about the lack of concern for civilians in the last movie, Batman explains that the port they're at is abandoned, so no risk of hurting innocents. But what's more, they need the kryptonite spear. Lois, I guess, figured that out too, since she just suddenly turns around to go get it after we just saw her drop it in the water. I mean, I don't fault her for doing that, but it feels like there should have been a conversation with somebody before this point to actually tell her to get it, as opposed to it just being, I dropped it in the water! Wait, I should go get that! BRB! Also, I love how Superman is just accepting of an Amazon warrior hanging around with them all of a sudden. He's had zero interactions with Diana. Fighting, destruction, fighting, Lois drowning because of the area above her collapsing, Dragon Ball Z beam struggle, Superman saves Lois, gets the spear, and I guess Supes didn't think to just ask Wendy to use it, since instead he picks it up and flies into Doomsday, who impales him with a bone, and they both die. So naturally, there are 15 minutes left. Yeah. Lex is found by the military learning about Steppenwolf and the mother boxes to set up Justice League. Also, apparently he's in a bunch of baked beans. Look, we're almost done. Just roll with it. He's sent to prison with his head shaved for his part in the Capitol bombing, and Clark is reported as killed in the battle. And I guess the rapture happened because everyone in Metropolis is suddenly frickin' gone. There are funerals, one for Clark at the Kent farm, and a big public one for Superman, even if they don't have a body. Oh, and naturally, for a farmer in Kansas, there's a Scottish bagpipe player to perform Amazing Grace as if this was friggin' Spock from Wrath of Khan. Although, in fairness, the sequel for both films did resurrect the dead character. Bruce and Diana decide to find other superheroes like themselves to prepare for potential threats, and swears that humanity can do better, as if that was the thesis of this movie. Batman goes to see Lex, somehow transforming from two guys who were there, and apparently Lex was able to convince everyone he went nuts. Yeah, I can see him pull that off. But Bruce arranged to get him transferred to Arkham. Lex cryptically says that something is coming because of Superman's death, and Batman elects not to brand him because of his character arc and all. But he still sent him to Arkham, making it clear that he's not going to be well treated there, so... growth? And so our movie ends, hinting at Superman's return by some dirt beginning to levitate over it, which I'm pretty sure would only be a thing if he was above the coffin, not inside of it. Anyway, as you may have gathered from this review that ended up being way longer than I ever wanted it to be, this movie sucks. Is there anything left for me to say? There's plenty left for the movie to say. It clearly wants to tell a message, and I'm all in favor of superhero movies that have something to say, but I cannot tell what the hell it is this film is trying to say other than, I like The Dark Knight Returns. I've got to tell you, I probably could have just covered the theatrical cut and saved myself like a page or two, because I, for the life of me, cannot see anything majorly different about this. Yeah, there's more scenes of Lois's subplot. Yeah, there's some additional dialogue and a shot of Ben Affleck's ass. But the movie is fundamentally the same. The same boring characters I don't like, the same boring music that fades unremarkably into the background except for Wonder Woman's theme and a few tracks during Lex Luthor prancing around like an idiot. Nothing about this movie inspires me, makes me think that humanity can be better or that Superman can show us the best of what we are. There are some ideas in here that could work. Hell, even the Versus movie as the second film in the cinematic universe could have worked, but not in the way presented here. Ironically, this movie is technically not a bomb. This made back more than twice its budget, but Warner Brothers wanting something that went into the billions. They wanted something raking in as much cash as the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that kind of arrogance and greed did not help matters. For those who still like this film, I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you not only got to enjoy more of the Snyderverse films, but even got the Snyder Cut of Justice League. People should take joy in their passions, but me personally, I'm glad that it seems to be dead in the water now. Maybe this will mean a new DC Cinematic Universe at some point, maybe not. I'm just glad this review is finally over. And next time, let's have ourselves something of a palate cleanser. Patreon-sponsored review again. Let's check out another crossover. Transformers and Ghostbusters.
I don't deserve you, Alfred.
No, sir, you don't.
Minutes we've been waiting for little Linkara to show up. I guess he's afraid to fight 70 million years of pure revolution. To fight the man with T-Rex blood in his veins. But I guess little Linkara has a bit of dinosaur in him as well. Gonna save his chicken.
10 minutes after we've already waited so long? Sounds like you're impatient.
Well, looky who decided to show up for his own funeral. Are you ready to face the champion of the world? Are you ready for me to head direction?
Nope! Because I'm not the one who's gonna fight you today. I invoke Article 9 of the Contest of Champions General Rules of Combat, the right of substitution. For one round of the contest, I can have someone else fight in my place. If they lose, I still lose. If they win, well, I can't invoke the article and have someone else fight for me at any other point. I have to put my trust in someone else for this round.
Bring it on, comic boy. I shouldn't be surprised to see you running away from facing the apex predator, so I'm perfectly happy to take on any man that you decide to splay across my sacrificial altar.
Well then, Mr. Rex, allow me to introduce you to my client, participant in no less than 5 promotions and leagues, heavyweight champion of the Stan Lee Wrestling Federation, holder of the Interplanetary Champion's belt. He beat Daredevil, he beat Cthulhu, he beat Bulbasaur. Ladies and gentlemen and others, boys and girls and enemies of all ages, Bone Button! To the next, from Kanto to Relaye, from the mountains of madness to the south side of hell, brother. And Bone Button is here to take you right back down there. You say you've got T-Rex blood in your veins? Well, last I checked, dinosaurs went extinct. And I think it's time that history repeated itself.
Extinct? Buddy, I got 3 T-Rexes on the ranch in Toledo and I drink a jug of breakfast every day. That's why these 2 Hale and Hardy hammers are going to break you into so many pieces that not even I would take on the job of putting you back together again.
I'm gonna press you down so far into the earth that it'll take 65 million years to excavate you.
Let's do this.
With Linkara leaving the ring, we're getting underway with the contest, long delayed because of the iron storm overhead. The ref is signaling and the match begins with these 2 fighters desperately trying to overpower the other.
Wait a second. I'm hearing that we're not getting a good signal down there.
Confirmed, we're not getting a clear picture at all. Tech crew, can you?
Oh, and Heavy Rex gets the first strike, hitting Bone Button with one of his signature jackhammers.
Bone Button's disoriented. Will this match be over just as soon as it starts?
We're still not getting anything. The techs are saying that the ion storm is disrupting the signal from the cameras. Now, we were warned this could happen.
We'll still try to provide a play-by-play while we get this sorted.
Wait! He's recovering and they're back in a grapple!
They've separated again. Bone Button is bouncing off the ropes.
And the clothesline to Heavy Rex! Looks like it hit him hard!
Bone Button goes to the body slam. He's trying to pin him early.
Ref is counting. 1, 2...
And he kicks out. They're both back up again. They're coming in to grapple some more.
Heavy Rex hits him in the foot to end the feud! Come on, ref! Where were you for that?
Wait a second. Someone is handing Heavy Rex something. It's a chair!
Rex swings, and interception from Bone Button! What's he doing with that chair? Oh my god, he's hitting himself with it! Bone Button can't be hurt by anything!
Uh-oh, Heavy Rex is trying to bounce off the sides. He's building up speed.
Ah, no good! What's Bone Button doing?
It's the button press. He's doing the button press!
He's done it! Bone Button is the winner!
Bone Button and by extension Linkara is the winner of this match. This contest has been decided.
Heavy Rex is heading back to the locker room. We'll see if we can get a reporter down there for a post-match interview.
Way ahead of you, we've got furious Fred Tolman down there with Heavy Rex.
Heavy Rex, sir, Fred Tolman, COC News. What are your first thoughts coming out of the ring, sir?
Let me tell you something, Fred. That Bone Button is a monster. A pure force of nature. And it was my honor to face him in the ring. But that little Linkara had to run off like a little coward.
Do you feel cheated, sir, with Linkara's invocation of Article 9?
I do. The people have been waiting for this match for so long, only to be deprived the sight of Linkara losing. He could have outmaneuvered me. He could have outsmarted me. He could have tried to shoot me with that magic gun of his. He could have thrown sand in my eyes. But he didn't even try.
Will you be protesting this with the Timlins, sir?
I will do no such thing, Fred.
I'm sorry, sir?
By the rules of this tournament, Bone Button and Linkara, they won fair and square. But outside this arena, my respect for Linkara's cowardice is null and void. That's why, if you're still listening, little Linkara, I challenge you to a rematch. I get it. You're too spineless and quivering to face a champion like me in the proud art of wrestling. So that's why I'm gonna lower myself to your level and challenge you to a construction competition. You name the place, I'll name the materials, and may the best builder win.
Well, I'm afraid a lot of people may still be disappointed, sir. There were apparently technical difficulties that kept people from seeing the match live.
And it's a damn shame, Fred, because half the fun of this isn't the part where I'm knocking them out of the squared circle. It's where I'm knocking them mentally with my words and my game. Because remember, kids, you too can one day be as clever and constructive and eloquent as Heavy Rex, as long as you stay in school.
Any final thoughts, Mr. X?
Don't do drugs, fight with honor, listen to your mother, and drink your milk. Unless you're lactose intolerant just like me, which is why the Heavy Rex Supermart always carries lactose-free options.
Some powerful and important words from Heavy Rex here at Timlin Stadium, and I would also like to remind our viewers that all fights are recorded and therefore posted live on our pay-per-view app. Go to Stellacom, download the COC News Service app, and follow the instructions to get in from there. We'll be right back with more from Timlin Stadium after a word from our sponsors. Stay tuned.
Hello my friends, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell for notifications on new video releases. If you'd like to support future videos, you can check out my Patreon or purchase a t-shirt via Teespring or Shark Robot. Thanks for watching!